Alright, so if you guys remember, earlier this week I checked out an awesome ocean shader for Blender that works with Eevee, so you could simulate an ocean in real time using a shader. Well, there's another one that's out this week. It's the Waterfall shader, and we had so much fun with the first one that I thought that we might as well go through and check out this one as well. So leave a comment below, let me know what you think about these videos where we go through cool stuff like this. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so this is another shader from Ben, or from BBBN19, and so you can actually check out his whole store on Gumroad. I will link to this in the notes down below. Some of these actually look really cool. We may look at these more in the future, but for now I want to check out this real-time waterfall shader for Eevee. And so if you click on this, you can download this. It's $2.50, just like the other one was, so not super expensive for something that creates a cool effect like this. But I kind of wanted to walk you through how to use this so that you can start creating waterfalls inside of Blender. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up that file that it downloads. And so when you open this up, it's going to look something like this. And so we're going to go ahead and switch over to Eevee so that we can see this result and what it's doing in here. And it's really cool. If you go through here and you take a look by kind of moving along the timeline or whatever, you can see how it's actually using displacement and other things real time in Eevee in order to generate this effect. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you a quick way to create your own waterfalls in here so that you have kind of an idea of the way that you can do it, and then you can kind of build on top of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a simple piece of geometry. So I'm just going to add a plane. I'm going to scale it up. And so we're just going to take this plane, and we've scaled it up. One thing you need to make sure that you do if you want this to work properly is once you scale it, you want to make sure you apply your rotation and scale to this. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tab into edit mode, do a Control R to add a couple loop cuts. So we're not going to make this super complicated, maybe something like this. And then I'm just going to right click. And so then I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to move a couple of these up. Just like this. Maybe extend this out. And maybe extend this out. So a very simple piece of geometry in here that's kind of going to line up with what we have over here. We may want to make this a little bit steeper. So we may want to take these and just move them over a little bit, but something like this. And so if you remember from the last video, what we need to do is we need to link this to these objects because we want the modifiers and materials that are being applied to this object to be applied to this one right here. So we're just going to select this, then do a shift click and do a Control L to link these. And we want to link the modifiers first. And then we want to do Control L again and link the materials. And so when you first look at this, notice how you're not actually getting anything useful, right? Like nothing in here actually looks the way that it should. There's a few things we still need to fix. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our UV map. Remember that the UV map name is really important. All we want to do for this object is just add a second UV map just by clicking on it. And then we want to click the plus button, and we're just going to call this gradient space parentheses UVs at 0, 0 closed. And so what that's going to do is that's just going to tell this what to go look for inside of the modifiers. So it's basically setting it up so the modifiers can go look for that UV map. So if you go into like the displace, for example, down here, basically what it wants to do is it wants to look for this UV map. So now, if we play this, you can see how the water is running forward right here. So that's a cool effect, but it's not quite what we're going for. And so the reason this one is a little bit trickier is just because this one relies a little bit more on the placement of a UV map in order for it to work. All right, so one other thing we're going to do really quick, and then we'll go mess with the UV mapping, which is how we get the water to work in here properly, is I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to do a Control R, and I'm just going to scroll my mouse wheel up, and I'm just going to add a little detail in here. So all I did was click and then right click, and then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the perimeter. So I'm just going to do an Alt Shift to select the path along here. And I'm just going to select the entire perimeter, right click on it, and I'm going to crease this edge. So that way this isn't subdividing the edge in here. The simple subdivide doesn't work for this. So I just crease this so that I'm not getting that weird kind of like curve around here. But now what we need to do is we need to go through and we need to edit the UV mapping, right? Because what this is doing is this is using a noise texture, I believe, to set a displacement in here, which is what's creating the effect right now. So if you look at this, this is creating kind of a displacement with layers along the edge here. But the problem is the UV mapping isn't set up properly. So let's go over to the UV editing tab. And so within the UV editing tab, what we want to do is we want to tab into object mode, and we're going to tap the A key. And one thing we want to do is we want to make sure when we do this, we're in our UV maps and we're not adjusting the gradient, we're adjusting the overall UV map. And so what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to tap the S key to scale this. Well, notice how when we scale this and adjust it, the size is adjusting on my screen. And you can see how now I'm getting more of a flat water effect up here. And we still have some issues, but that's okay. We'll work on those in a second. So for right now, if we take a look at this, we're to tab back into object mode, you can see how I'm getting a lot better effect where the white noise starts right at this edge here, and then it's kind of moving along this side. And so what we need to do with this is we actually need to come in here and select just these edges. So, and I'm going to type 1 to go into vertex select mode. Notice how I'm in edit mode, and I just want to scale this along the y-axis. And so notice how when I scale this along the y-axis, I'm getting a different result where my noise texture is. And then I'm going to take this bottom selection of vertices, I'm going to type G, I'm going to move that down. And so notice how when I move that down, what I'm getting is I'm getting water on the other side of this. And I think it's using the noise detail right here. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But basically what we're doing is we're just adjusting the way this is mapped out. And so one thing we could do if we wanted to is we could do a Control R and add a little bit more detail in here. So notice how by adding a little bit more detail, that just gives you a little bit more control over how this is mapped in here. So we might do the same thing here where we add an edge loop right here. But then we can come in here and we can move this around in our UV editing in order to adjust where that fall off starts. So we can move it and scale it in order to get that result. So now, if I was to tab back into edit mode, you can see how I'm getting a pretty decent result. But notice how, again, if I zoom out, the further up I place this first edge right here, the slower that water is going to look like it's moving in order to get to the waterfall itself. So you can kind of play around with this in order to kind of get the results that you want. All right, so one thing you might have noticed here is you might have noticed that we're getting a lot of up-down movement in our water over here, right? Here and here, it's just kind of all over the place. And so part of the reason for that is because the displacement right now is being applied to everything for both the water right here as well as the water down here. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to set our displacement separately for both our water and our waterfall. And so to do that, we need to set up some vertex groups. So basically we need to tell this, okay, for these vertices, do this amount of that. For these vertices, do a different amount of displacement. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to tab into edit mode right here. And what I want to do is for my water right here, right, for these, and then for these, I want to put those in a vertex group. And I may deselect these guys actually. So these vertices and these vertices are going to go in one vertex group. So I'm going to go to vertex groups. I'm going to add 1 for these vertices. And I'm going to click on the button for assign. And then I'm going to select these. And I'm going to add a new vertex group. And I'm going to click on assign. So remember, group 2 is the waterfall. We might even call this waterfall. We might call this calm water. And so then we just want to go into our displacement settings. So we want to click on this button right here, and down at the bottom there's two displacement gradients being applied. So the first one is going to affect your water. So for that one, we want to tell this to affect our calm water vertex groups, right? And then for the second one, we want to tell that to affect our waterfall. And so what that means is that now, notice how you're getting more displacement on your waterfall than you are over here. And you can adjust the strength of each one of those. So if you want your waterfall to be more, you could set this to like 3. And then you could set your calm water to something even less if you wanted to, like 1.5. And notice how what that's doing is that's giving us much less of this effect on the water than what we're getting on our waterfall. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Have you tried this shader? Are you liking it? I just love having that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new Blender content every week. If you like what I'm doing in this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Every little bit helps, even if it's only $1 a month. So make sure you check out that link in the notes down below. But in any case, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.